Hello music techie people. Today we're going to be looking at the drums for AMTV by Ladytron as part of the AS Music Technology coursework. So the first thing you'll notice about the drums is that they use a rather strange clef. They have exactly the same 5 lines in the stave, but the clef is just these 2 lines. Now, unlike the treble or bass clef, the notes are not represented by pitch but different parts of the drum kit. So starting from bottom, I'm going up. This first line where F would be if it was the treble clef is now a kick drum beat, and then we've got a snare hit where the C would be if it was the treble clef, and then along the top line where F should be is now hi-hats. And anything with a cymbal is really easy to spot because it's just a cross, so that basically means it's a crash or a hi-hat, anything like that, the ride. So into Logic, I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks including the cowbell for my percussion. And the reason I'm doing this over 5 different tracks instead of putting them all into one basically means I have more manipulation and more control over each different element of the kit. It's exactly the same as if you were recording in the studio. You'd put a microphone on each part of the kit, and it means I have more control over compression, EQ, and I can change and manipulate each different part that I want to in post-production when I've put all the notes in. So back to the score. I'm going to be doing bars 1 and 2. So this first beat here, remember, it's the best place to start is at the very bottom. So this is the kick, and if we look along this bar 1, we've only got 1 kick beat, and that's a crotchet on beat 1. So back into Logic, and then I create a region on the kick track and double click to enter the piano roll, and then I need to scroll down to find my kick sound, and it should be here. There we go. So we're going to be entering a crotchet beat in beat 1. So here's the first beat, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then it goes into the second bar. So the first beat in bar 1, let's put that note in. There we go. Back to the score. We've now moved up to this C space if it was the treble clef, but remember here this is now a snare, and the snare beats are again crotchets, and they fall on the 2nd and the 4th in the first bar. So back into Logic, create a region and double click to enter. Then I need to find my snare beat, which should be here. There we go. And that's the 2nd and 4th beats. 2nd, 4th. Easy. Now, back to the score again. The last part for this bar is the hi-hat hits, which are quaver notes. So for every beat there should be 2. So let's put those in. Create a region again. Find my sound. There we go. So beats 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of those should have 2 because they're quavers now, not crotchets. So let's put those in. We just need to shrink it down. There we go. We'll draw those in. Okay, good. Now, the last part of the percussion for this first bar is the cowbell. And this is just on 1 line. Again, we've got that drum clef. So anything percussive will have these 2 lines. And the cowbell is just there. And that falls on the quaver beat just at the end of the 3rd beat in that bar. So I'll take this and drag it across so I can open it up. Okay. There we go. And it falls right at the very end. So let's just check. So we've got a minim rest, so that's for 2 beats. 1, 2, a quaver rest. Then it's the 3rd beat at the very end, and then a crotchet rest. So that should fall just there. Minim rest, quaver rest, the beat, and then the crotchet rest. Okay. Now let's go back to bar 2. So we've got the kick again. This goes 1, 2, 3, then 2 hits on the snare, and then the hi-hat, which continues all the way across for these bars 1, 2, 3, and 4, and carries on for ages throughout the song. Now, Edexcel have decided to save money on ink and not print the hi-hat beats, which basically just makes your life a little bit difficult, but trust me, they're there. So the hi-hat will continue along that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th bar. So the easiest way to do that is if we go to the hi-hat and we just go to the top right hand corner and we just loop it. Okay, so back to the kick. We've got 1 beat, which is a crotchet on the 1st beat of the 2nd bar. So let's put that in first. Drag it out. Double click to enter the piano roll. And again, it's just on the 1st beat of the 2nd bar. There we go. It now gets a little bit complicated here. Because we're in 4/4, the notes are tied between the 2nd and the 3rd beat. So this note here, though it looks like 2 quavers, is only 1 beat. Okay? So it'll go 1, 2, 3. So we need to go back to Logic. Okay? So it ties between the 2nd beat here, which is this space, and the 3rd beat here. So let's put that note in. So we've got 1 beat on beat 1, and then the 2nd kick drum beat that falls between the 2nd and 3rd. And then if we look at the score, we've got a quaver beat that falls immediately after. So this should be a little bit shorter than the others, and it just goes right at the end. There we go. Back to the score. We've now got the snare to input, and that falls on the very beginning of the 2nd beat, and it's a quaver length. So let's put that in. Just if you go to the bottom right, you can drag out the region so you can input more notes. Double click to enter, and it falls at the very beginning of the 2nd beat, and it's a quaver, so it's going to be half the length of these. There we go. Back to the score to have another quick look, and then we see right at the very end on the 4th beat is 1 crotchet on the snare. So let's input that, drag it out. There we go. So we've now got the kick for 2 bars, the snare for 2 bars, the hi-hat, and the cowbell. And you just carry on doing that throughout the song. It's really easy. Remember, these do not represent pitch. They represent different parts of the kit. So let's have a little listen to the drums that we've inputted. And I'm just going to solo these so we can just hear the drums. Fantastic. Now, with the drums, it's really important to try and get that feel of a real drummer playing the kit. And one of the things you'll notice is that a drummer will never hit the hi-hat or the snare or the kick at exactly the same velocity each time. So to get that realistic feel throughout the beats, it's better to sort of change the velocity up and down so you get these strong beats and soft beats, and it'll just make it sound a little bit more realistic. Now, if I change my tool here in the piano roll, and I'm just doing this on the hi-hat as an example, I'll click here and go all the way down till I see the velocity tool. Okay, and then all I need to do is click on the beat and drag up or down. You'll notice that the less velocity, it goes bluey purple, and the greater the velocity, it goes into the red. And just go through those. There's no right way or wrong way of doing this, just what this will also do is bring out the individual sounds of the kit so you can hear them really clearly against one another, and it'll just make it sound a lot more interesting. Okay, so let's listen to that now. Our velocity is changing in the hi-hat and it'll make it a lot more interesting. I'm just going to solo that, and it makes it sound less robotic. You can hear it there, it's moving in and out the velocity. It's giving it a little bit of spice. Okay guys, so that's basically all you need to do, and you're gonna do this all the way through the song. Remember, this is not pitch, this is different parts of the kit, but we've still got the same time signature, so the note lengths are exactly the same when we input them in the piano roll. And I hope that helps. See you later.